It is a good evening to you viewers, and we meet once again on yet another episode of Crime Watch. On this program, we unravel your law enforcement agents' day-to-day duties with a view to inform you on our roles and operations as we fight against crime in our beloved country. My name is S07E10. It is always a pleasure and an honor to have you along. We start by giving you some highlights of people who have appeared before the courts of law, subsequently convicted and sentenced for committing various offenses. Norman Machari, aged 22, who last month unlawfully entered into a house and stole various electrical gadgets worth 107,000 Zimbabwean dollars, was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment at Harare Magistrate Court recently. Shepard Ndlovu, aged 33, who robbed Tasara Muzwarigwi, aged 38, of property worth $5,153 at gunpoint, was arrested and appeared at Tredgold Magistrate in Bulawayo and was recently convicted and sentenced to 12 years imprisonment. Armed with a knife, Tanyara Zwahlachwayo, aged 25, robbed Shupikai Manyange, aged 32, of her valuables. He was subsequently arrested, convicted, and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment at Chipinge Magistrate Court. We now move on to arrest by police across the country. Theft and vandalism of public utilities and infrastructure have far-reaching negative effects on the operations of concerned entities and also communities which stand to benefit from such services. Police in Mutare have made arrests in connection with theft of copper cables which occurred in Mutare, Rusape, Vumba, and surrounding areas. Over 200 kgs of Til1 and ZESA overhead and underground copper cables were recovered.
We've received a number of cases involving theft of ZESA and Til1 utilities. We've also recently arrested 6 accused persons who were involved in 3 cases of theft of ZESA and Til1 cables. In one case, 2 accused persons were arrested for stealing ZESA overhead cables at Vumba. In the other case, 2 accused persons were arrested for stealing ZESA underground cables at Red Wing Mine in Penalonga. And 2 accused persons were arrested for stealing Til1 cables from Til1 warehouse in Mutare. All in all, a total of 200 kgs of these transition cables were recovered. And the accused persons appeared in court and the cases are still pending. We wish to urge the community to assist in curbing theft of Til1 and the ZESA utilities, because we've had some cases whereby these cables are stolen in broad daylight. So we wish to urge the communities to verify and report to the nearest police stations should they find any works being done by either Til1 or NRS within their area, to confirm as to whether the workers would be genuine NRS or Til1 workers. That can go a long way in assisting us in detecting these cases and arresting the accused persons and making recoveries.
In light of rising cases of robbery involving pirate taxis in Bulawayo, ZRP Bulawayo Metropolitan Traffic conducted a 7-day operation with Zenara and the Bulawayo City Council targeting these pirate taxis.
The operation went well for 7 days. It was designed in such a way that vehicles being used as pirate taxis to be targeted, impounded and taken to a safe place for vetting, that is a Rose Camp. After being vetted, those that will have been found pirating will then pay fines for their offenses, and the vehicles in question will then be vetted by VTS, that's a vehicle theft section. Having been vetted, they will then be taken to VID, where they will be inspected, and the owners will then be asked to submit affidavits that they will not use the vehicles in question in future again as pirate taxis without having formalized them. 62 vehicles were arrested. 5 of the vehicles of which were found with some irregularities that attracted the attention of the vehicle theft squad. As a result of the operation, generally there was a decrease in crime and the incidency of robberies.
Meanwhile, The ZRP Western Commonage in Bulawayo has nabbed a 6-member gang that was committing a spate of armed robberies in and around Bulawayo.
Recently, we had a series of cases of robberies involving Honda Fit vehicles in and around our policing area as well as Bulawayo city at large. These robbers would hire different Honda Fit vehicles, ferry passengers, and along the way they would divert the route and rob the victims of their cell phones, cash and other valuables. On the 12th of September 2019, we had a case where one of the victims was followed from Bulawayo CBD into Kelvin area, where the robbers removed pressure from one of the wheels of the complainant's vehicle. When the complainant came to check, the robbers took chance and stole complainant's cell phone and got away in one of the Honda Fit vehicles. The vehicle was, however, involved in an accident after it veered off the road, and we made a follow-up and arrested one of the accused persons by the name Busiso Stole. And he implicated his colleagues. As of now, we've arrested a total of 6 accused persons who were using different Honda Fit vehicles to rob complainants of their properties. The accused persons were also involved in what we believe was a shootout using one of the Honda Fit vehicles just parked behind me. It has 2 gunshot holes at the back. We have one gang member who is still at large. So far, we've managed to recover about 20 cell phones. We've also recovered a generator. We urge members of the public to desist from using these mshika-shika vehicles, as they've been turned into vehicles for getaway by robbers. We are also urging members of the public to come forward and identify some of the recovered cell phones at ZRP Western Commonage. In addition, we also want to thank members of the public who have been forthcoming with the information that has led to the police managing to account for these robbers.
The 6, Noah Ncube, aged 29, Thabo Mtombeni, aged 27, Lindokuhle Moyo, aged 22, Prosper Moyo, aged 23, Solomon Harry, aged 25, and Zbusiso Stole, aged 23, have appeared in court. Do not move an inch. We will be right back. We're in the second segment of Crime Watch. Thank you for staying with us. There's been an upsurge in cases of drug dealings where some criminals are manufacturing foodstuffs which are laced with dacha. A 26-year-old Mutare man has been arrested in connection with sale of ganja cakes, mostly to school-going children.
We received information to the effect that there was a young man who was carrying some ganja cakes in a satchel in our area of policing. We reacted on the information and we managed to arrest the young man, Tendai David Simao, who is aged 26 years, and we recovered the satchel. There were 40 ganja cakes in the satchel. The accused person admitted that he was the one who was responsible for the preparation of the ganja cakes. Abuse of drugs has taken a new dimension. Previously, they would sell the drugs in their raw form, but now they are lacing some cakes with those drugs and selling them to unsuspecting youth and school children who then abuse these drugs. We also want to urge school children not to be involved in the abuse of these drugs, as it is detrimental to their health and also it affects their performance in school.
We also spoke to a psychiatrist on the effects of consuming such drugs.
We have seen cannabis use as early as 12 years, or starting from grade 7. But we see that it peaks, especially after Form 3, the ages of 15 up to 35. One of the things that it also does, especially to the youths, is that it causes a motivational syndrome, where people are not motivated to do anything in life. That in itself destroys productivity, destroys the ability even to work, to concentrate. It doesn't matter how you take it, as long as you are taking in the substance. It contains a dangerous substance called the tetrahydrocannabinoid. There are over 400 ingredients there, but that one is a toxic one. And it's really, really dangerous. It affects your nervous system. There are other cases that we are also seeing where people are mixing this ganja, they are mixing with bronco, they are mixing it with cocaine, they are mixing it with alcohol. It then actually amplifies and makes the situation worse when you mix these things together. And so we are urging the youths of Zimbabwe to preserve their psychological health, preserve their minds, preserve their productivity by avoiding cannabis.
We all need to be alive to save our nation and steer it towards economic stability as we envisage a middle-income economy by 2030. This was the message from Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe in their call for adherence to road rules and regulations in order to save lives and property.
We are looking at the negative effects of road traffic collisions to economic stabilization. So our theme runs road safety, key in transition towards economic stabilization. When accidents happen, when there is a collision, you find that life may be lost or they may be injured, sometimes permanent injury, to the driver, to the occupants of the vehicle, and to any other road user who may be involved in that particular type of accident. Human resources are very critical in economic stabilization, so that will be a loss. Then you'll find that there may be damage to property. The vehicle itself may be a complete write-off or may need repairs, which also is something that will bring down economic stabilization. Then there may be total loss of the goods that may have been in transition from point A to point B. So road safety is very critical in economic stabilization.
We are now in the fire season, and be warned that carelessly starting fires is an offense, as these fires can easily go out of control and destroy lives and property. We talked to Mrs. Amgela Sehange of the Environmental Management Agency on this subject.
In Zimbabwe, we have got a period where we really concentrate on the issues of veld fires, and this is the period that is between July 31 and 31 October of each year. This is the period that we refer to as the fire season. When we look at July 31, it is the period when the veld will be generally dry and very flammable, thereby very liable to the start of veld fires. And when we look at 31 October, it is actually when we'll be expecting the first effective rains, meaning that by then veld fires will be very much suppressed. Now, coming into 2019, 31 July, we had already lost over 400 hectares of land to veld fires from about 171 veld fire incidences. And that is not a good picture at all, because that goes to show that we are losing much land way before it is expected. Coming into 2019, we need to understand how have we fared. We have fared very badly. We have lost over 400 hectares of prime land, and already we are in the fire season. We have lost way beyond 400,000 hectares as well. Unfortunately, we have lost 2 people to veld fires this season. We lost a 50-year-old man in Marsh Central from a veld fire. We lost a 61-year-old woman from a veld fire in Mashonaland East. I want to say my profound condolences to the families that obviously lost breadwinners. We are saying, as a community, before we actually go into the veld fire season, we can come up with firefighting teams. When you have got these firefighting committees, they will always make a community be ready to fight a fire, guide the community in fighting a fire. When we are into the fire season, it becomes a punishable offense for one to start a fire outside a residential area or a business premise. That one should be clearly understood. Other than that, it becomes a punishable offense to be found without standard fire guards during the fire season. The law also stipulates that when you see an ongoing fire incident, you are supposed to participate in the putting out of the fire. Failure to put out a fire or failure to participate in the putting out of the fire becomes a punishable offense and you can be prosecuted. Other than that, we are looking upon the traditional leaders to use the powers that are vested of them to actually prosecute those that start fires. As the Environmental Management Agency, we want to applaud the major role that is being played by Zimbabwe Republic Police, from awareness raising up to prosecution of the offenders. So I want to even call upon other government departments that you also have a major stake in the management of fires. Let's come on board, all of us. Let's collaborate, let's form teams, and then together we are able to assist communities in managing fires.
As the police, we strongly warn against careless starting of fires, and we will continue working with stakeholders to curb these cases. Please report anyone you see starting a fire. We'll take a short break. Join us in the third and final segment. We're in the third and final segment of Crime Watch. In order to sharpen their skills in weapon handling and shooting, the ZRP participates in the annual Presidential Medal Shooting Competition alongside other security forces and members of the public. This year's winners were recently awarded at an event held at Cleveland Rangers in Harare. The event was hosted by Zimbabwe Republic Police, and Vice President Comrade Kembo Mohadi represented the President, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, as the guest of honor.
Under this dispensation, we are mindful that there is no higher responsibility than the security of our nation. In that regard, testing the preparedness of security services, especially their skills, proficiency, and teamwork, is paramount. Our defense, law enforcement, and intelligence agencies must continuously coordinate and prioritize efforts aimed at building resilience in protecting our national interests. Towards this end, I'm gratified that our security services have continued to build close relations by creating esprit de corps amongst themselves in various facets of the national security and its attendant objectives. This is in line with our national emblem, whose motto reminds us of the need to maintain unity as well as the will to work and preserve freedom. May I also congratulate the Zimbabwe Republic Police for successfully hosting the 2019 edition of this prestigious competition. Allow me to further commend all the security services for their sterling performance, which has continued to characterize this national event.
What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others during the days of our lives that will determine the significance of the life we lead. These words by the late former South African President Nelson Mandela were reflected on at this year's Commissioner General of Police horse race. This is an annual event spearheaded by the Commissioner General of Police to raise funds for police orphans, widows, and other disadvantaged members of our communities.
This year's edition of the Commissioner General of Police's Horse Race demonstrates that once again together we can leverage on the benefits of sport for both entertainment as well as coming together to extend a hand to the needy. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak, over 450 widows and orphans of departed fellow officers and members are benefiting from the Commissioner General of Police's Welfare Fund. This number also includes many civilians who are underprivileged from the various communities we serve across the length and breadth of Zimbabwe.
The Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, Ambassador Kane Matema, was the guest of honor at the event, which was held at Borodale Racecourse in Harare.
I would like to mention with pride that the Commissioner General of Police Horse Race, being one of the ZRP's fundraising initiatives, has reaped tremendous results in supporting and caring for orphans and widows. Indeed, it is gratifying to note that although this benevolence was initially meant for bereaved families of departed members, the ZRP has since broadened their magnanimous gesture to include other disadvantaged members from the community at large. Commissioner General, you are no doubt demonstrating that helping these less privileged is the noblest feat of humankind. Ladies and gentlemen, I am informed and reliably so that the Commissioner General of Police's Welfare Fund is currently catering for 450 beneficiaries, most of whom are in primary and secondary schools, as well as various tertiary institutions.
We would like to thank those who supported the ZRP in making this charitable cause a reality. As the police continue to reach out to members of the public through various forums, police in Manicaland participated at the recently held Manicaland Agricultural Show, where they were also crowned Best Government Permanent Stand.
This year, Manicaland Province Police, we exhibited under the theme ZRP rebranding for a transition towards economic stabilization. For the economy to stabilize, we need as an organization to support other stakeholders or the intelligence approach whereby we create a conducive environment for those stakeholders who are in the forefront of ensuring that the economy is propelling very well.
We would also want to take this opportunity to inform you that we are still hunting for other criminals who were involved in illegal demonstrations that ensued in the country from 2016 to date. If you know any of the following criminals, we encourage you to report to any nearest police station or contact us on the details appearing on your screen. As we come to the end of this week's program, we would like to highlight some of the people who are on the police wanted list. Patson Tanyanyiwa, age 36, of house number 3476, Makwekwe North, Bulawayo, is wanted by Donington Police for fraud. Boniface Chierengo, aged 54, of Zimuto Street, Micheke, Masvingo, is being sought by Masvingo Central Police for theft. Lastly, Beauty Ndlovu, aged 63, of house number F25 Njube, Bulawayo, is wanted by Kamativi Police in connection with fraud. Anyone with information that may help the police in locating any of these accused persons should contact any nearest police station or contact us on the details appearing on your screen. It has been a wonderful time having you along. And as we come to the end of this week's episode, we would like to thank all those who extended their arms in support of this year's Commissioner General of Police fanfare held yesterday. Your selfless acts of goodwill did not go unnoticed and are fully appreciated. This brings us to the end of this week's episode, and that leaves me to thank the production crew behind the scenes. Pleasant viewing.